all those different things that this one invention had an effect on. And you notice, I want to read this sentence again. It was originally created to power an electric car. Do we see electric cars in today's world? For all my car fans out there, I know a few of you right now are thinking about Tesla. We've talked about that before. Really expensive electric cars. So think about this. This was many years ago. Thomas Edison had this in his head that maybe this one day would help electric cars. And you're saving the earth, not only by not using plastic, but by not using cars with gas, for sure. Present day. When members of our government cast a vote, they use very basic voting machines. Edison's lab. Thomas Edison invented a vote recorder for the government. It was his very first patent. Having a patent means you legally own an invention. Over the course of his career, he was awarded 1,093 patents for his ideas. Edison's fluoroscope was the first example of X-ray technology. It generated bright and fast images. The basic design is still used today. So think about all the different uses of technology that we have. And I also want you to think about that word patent, okay? He had a patent for his invention. What does a patent mean? Underline what a patent means on that page in paragraph 15. Okay, we're identifying main ideas and identifying important parts. Present day. When we hear the word Hollywood, we think of bright lights, big movies, and glamorous celebrities. But did you know that Hollywood is not the birthplace of movies? The movie industry was essentially started at Edison's lab. His goal was to offer an experience that does for the eye what the phonograph does for the ear. Edison's lab. So Edison created the first motion picture camera, the kintograph. The technology was similar to our modern movie cameras. He also built the first movie studio and called it the Black Maria because it resembled a police patrol wagon with the same nickname. Movie lights did not exist yet, so they opened the roof and used the sunlight. As the sun moved, the studio followed it on a revolving track. Wait a second. How many people right now think to yourself or talk to somebody around you have ever watched a movie? If I was a betting man, I would say that probably every single one of us at some point in our life has sat down and watched a movie. Well, you now know who to thank for that. Present day. Today we can watch our favorite movies on a big screen, at home, or even on our phones. Edison's lab. The first movies were shown on Edison's kinetoscope, which did not project images onto a screen. It was built for peephole viewing, one person watching at a time. Edison's kinetophone was the first projector to show movies with synchronized sound. The projector was connected to a phonograph. It wasn't perfect, but it was the first. When people watched movies for the first time, they were amazed to see even the simplest movements like a woman dancing, a man sneezing, a boat in the water, a man posing, a rooster walking. Now, it's kind of crazy for us to think that this was the first movie when we have a camera that can record your teacher and he can read you the whole story while you guys follow along. But you have to think, when inventions first start, they're not as good as what they're eventually going to get to. So again, it's fascinating to see all the different things that Thomas Edison is responsible for that we still currently use today. All right, I want you to, right now, underline what you think are the main ideas or the important details from these pages. I know that some of you have probably been doing that all along, but here would be a great place to stop and really identify what are some key words, main ideas, and important details. Go ahead, you can do that now. Present day. When you chat with your friend on a computer, you send electronic messages across wires and radio waves, just like the old telegraph machines did. Edison began working as a telegraph operator in his teens. Today, we use radio waves to transmit all types of signals, including those from mobile phones, radar, television, and radio. Now, we've been hearing a lot of our vocab words, which I attached in the link as well. And you guys are going to have something to do with that. Radar. What is it? Right? Radar is a way to find unseen objects by using radio signals. So when you get in a car with your guardian, whoever that may be, have you ever seen them go to their phone and plug something into a GPS? Well, we can thank Thomas Edison for that. That's using radar to detect where they are so that it can show them how to get to their destination. Edison's lab. He eventually improved telegraph technology with machines that could not only send messages faster, but could also send several different messages on the same wire and in opposite directions. The quadruplex telegraph. I love these illustrations of them too. I know you guys are probably loving them. They're pretty funny. Thomas Edison was among the first to discover radio waves in the air. Although at the time, he couldn't fully explain his discovery. Isn't that interesting to think that even Thomas Edison, when he figured this out, he didn't figure it out. He was like, oh my God, like I know something's happening, but I can't grasp really what it is. Very interesting. Present day. Our quality of life has certainly been improved by the extraordinary work of Thomas Edison and his colleagues at the labs. Think about this. Bedtime stories would be very different today if it were not for Edison's most popular and important invention, the incandescent light bulb. I was waiting for this to come up. Love the illustration on that page. Edison's lab. After thousands of experiments, Thomas Edison produced a light bulb that was perfect for homes and offices. It was sturdy, safe, and bright. It also burned a long time. This breakthrough ultimately changed the way we live, and it was also excellent for shadow puppets. Now, what did people do before light bulbs? I'm confused. There wasn't always light bulbs? In your notes section right now, tell me, what did people use before light bulbs? I don't know. You tell me. Present day. Just to let you guys know, I know that you're awesome at finding things in your table of contents, but we are currently up to paragraph 33 on page 220. Some awesome illustrations on this page. Present day. Edison's bulb worked as part of an elaborate light and power system large enough to power an entire city. He once told a newspaper that he would be the first person to light up a portion of New York City. It took 4 years of hard work, but he kept his word. New York City, where's that at? What state? Is that close to us? Is it on the West Coast, East Coast? Is it up north? Is it down south? If we left Philadelphia or Upper Darby, Clifton Heights, and what cardinal direction would we have to travel to get to New York City? Use your resources, all right? Put that in the discussion. Edison's lab. Edison built the first large electric generator and power system on Pearl Street in Manhattan. The key feature was its ability to send electricity to many different locations at once. It became the model for the future. Now, what is so important on that page? Large electric generator. And what did it do? Guys, think about this. How many boroughs are there in New York City? We've talked about this before. 5 different boroughs. You have Manhattan, Queens, Brooklyn, the Bronx, and Staten Island. Now, of those 5 boroughs, Manhattan is the most populated, and it has where all the businesses are. Do you think that it will take a huge generator to power that whole city? Oh wait, did I say city? I meant borough, right? Even though Manhattan has enough people that could fill most cities in the entire country, it's just one borough of New York City, and there's 5 total. So think about how big that generator would need to be in order to fill the whole borough of Manhattan. Okay, I'm loving this next page, page 222. Awesome illustration on this, and it actually provides you with different dates. So this would be called a timeline. I'm going to read the paragraphs first, and then we're going to talk about the timeline. So every time you turn on a light, think of Thomas Edison and remember everything he gave us. One of the greatest tributes to his work came on the day of his funeral in 1931. President Herbert Hoover asked the entire country to honor Edison by turning off the lights for a minute of darkness. People everywhere honored a lifelong career filled with important inventions and innovations, a career that began in the small home laboratory of a young boy with lots of ambition and dreams. So I want you guys to take a look at the timeline here where Thomas Edison, it looks like a little silly boy here in 1859. He was only 12 years old, a couple of years older than you guys. In 1869, he invented the vote recorder. In 1874, the quadruplex telegraph. In 1877, tinfoil phonograph. In 1877, the incandescent light bulb. In 1880, the ore separator. In 1890, the arcade phonograph. In 1891, the kintograph. Another mention in 1891. Man, he was busy in 1891. The kintoscope. In 1896, the fluoroscope. In 1910, the alkaline battery. In 1913, the kintophone. And then in 1918, the Ediphone. Guys, that's a lot of inventions by one person. Think about where we would be in this life if Thomas Edison never tried to achieve his dream of becoming an inventor. So I want you guys to take all that into consideration every time you look at your phone, every time you're on your computer like you're doing right now. I want you to think a little bit about our boy Thomas Edison here. It was a great story this week. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm really looking forward to seeing you guys sooner rather than later. Any questions, concerns you have, please put in the discussion. Also, you do have a question that I posed for you in the discussion already, so please try to answer that. Remember, when you're reading a story, what's the main thing that we want to do? Annotation, which means you're identifying your main details, your important parts, okay? I love this story this week. I wish we were together face to face to do it, but this is the next best thing. And guess what? We wouldn't have been able to do it hadn't it not been for Thomas Edison. Peace out.